Shifting the gears, Rostow, right? Nowadays, there are a lot of GCCs are coming into India. Then now there is a statistic saying that there are 1,800 GCCs in India, and the number is increasing every day, right? How do you see a system integrator's role is changing in this environment?
You're absolutely right. India has become a very hot target market for GCCs to come and set up capability centers in India. The breadth of the talent, the depth of technology, the kind of innovation that you have there. So if you see today, many large global corporations have tens of thousands of people in India across financial services, retail, manufacturing, healthcare. So all the large global verticals are present here, and they all have critical mass here. So if you are a SI, it's a little bit of a, what shall I say, double-edged sword. At one level, those guys can then take over the work from you. If you're a SI dealing with a large bank in the US, for example, the bank has set up a captive. So they have access to the same talent, they have access to the same cost structure, the economics, and many other things. So therefore, they could potentially take away the volume of work that was outsourced, potentially can be insourced and given to the captive there. So that's one threat. Second threat is then you're ending up having to deal with the managers and with the processes here in India with the GCC. In which case, for example, your billing rate may suffer or your growth may suffer, etc. Instead of dealing directly with the buyer, or your customer connects to the business users may suffer because the people here may end up becoming more of the interface for you. So you may not end up dealing with the real business owners and their problems and so on and so forth. So it could be a downside in some ways. But it could also be an upside if the what shall I say, the situations are right. Because there's a GCC, for example, maybe there'll be more work that's currently being thought of sending to India, which previously they couldn't have. For example, if it's data to be shared, then many countries, for example, have regulations that prevent it. So instead of sending it to a third party, the work could come to a GCC, and you send your people to the GCC because then you're inside their network, you're accessing it as part of their teams, etc. So it could also be a growth opportunity depending on the circumstances of your case. So that's as far as the SIs go. But with the GCCs coming in, especially with some of the newer ones, some of the more cases where some of the GCs are really strategic, it's an enormously valuable opportunity of partnership for the startups. Because if you take an example like, say, Bosch has a very well established incubator accelerator kind of a program